What happens when one of the world's most controversial royals comes face to face with America's toughest interviewer? You won't believe what unfolds when Prince Harry sits down with George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America, only to have the conversation spiral into an explosive confrontation that ends with the Duke of Sussex storming off, set in a fit of rage. Before we get into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because you're not going to believe what unfolds. Last night's episode started innocently enough, with Prince Harry taking his place across from Stephanopoulos in the iconic GMA studio. The Duke appeared confident, even cocky, as he settled into the guest chair, clearly expecting the usual softball questions about his charitable work and upcoming projects. But Stephanopoulos had other plans entirely. "Your Highness, let's talk about your recent comments regarding the American justice system," Stephanopoulos began, his tone measured but pointed. "You've criticized our courts, our Constitution, yet you're living here as a guest in our country. Some Americans find that rather hypocritical." The smile immediately vanished from Harry's face. "I think you're mischaracterizing my statements, George. I've simply pointed out areas where progress could be made." "Progress?" Stephanopoulos leaned forward, his journalistic instincts kicking in. "You called our First Amendment bonkers in a previous interview. That's not suggesting progress. That's attacking the very foundation of American democracy." Harry's jaw tightened visibly. That quote was taken completely out of context. And frankly, I'm surprised you'd perpetuate that kind of tabloid journalism here. The tension in the studio became palpable as Stephanopoulos refused to back down. "It wasn't tabloid journalism, Your Highness. It was your own words, on camera, in a paid interview. Are you now saying you were misquoted?" "What I'm saying," Harry shot back, his voice rising slightly, "is that you're doing exactly what the British press does, twisting words to create controversy." Stephanopoulos wasn't finished. "Let's talk about your memoir then. You wrote extensively about your family, including very private conversations. Your own father, King Charles, and your brother William. Many Americans are wondering if you're willing to betray your own family for profit. What does that say about your character?" Harry's face flushed red with anger. "Betray? How dare you sit there and accuse me of betrayal? I told my truth, something you clearly wouldn't understand. Your truth included private conversations, personal moments, family disputes that most people would consider sacred." Stephanopoulos pressed on relentlessly. "You've made millions selling out your family's secrets. How is that not betrayal?" Standing halfway up from his chair, Harry's voice became sharp and defensive. "You have no idea what I've been through, what my family put me through. The racism, the neglect, the complete lack of support when my wife was suicidal. But that's exactly the problem," Stephanopoulos countered smoothly. "Every time you're challenged, you play the victim card. You're a privileged prince, living in a Montecito mansion, making millions from Netflix and book deals. Yet you continue to portray yourself as the victim." The Duke's composure finally cracked completely. "Victim? You think this is about playing victim? My mother was killed by the same system you're defending right now." "Your mother died in a tragic accident, Your Highness. But you've spent years blaming everyone else for your problems while profiting from your grievances. At what point do you take responsibility for your own choices?" Harry shot to his feet, his face twisted with rage. "This is exactly the kind of attack journalism that destroyed my mother's life. I won't sit here and be ambushed by someone who clearly has an agenda. The only agenda here is the truth," Stephanopoulos replied calmly, remaining seated. "You came on this show to promote your latest project, but Americans deserve to know who you really are behind the victim narrative." "You want to know who I really am?" Harry's voice was now shaking with fury. "I'm someone who had the courage to walk away from a toxic institution, unlike the sycophantic journalists who enable them." Stephanopoulos' expression hardened. "And yet you're still using that title, still trading on that royal connection for every deal you make. You can't have it both ways, Your Highness." The final straw came when Harry realized he was trapped in his own contradictions. His face went pale, then read again, his hands trembling with barely controlled rage. "This interview is over," he declared, ripping off his microphone. "I came here in good faith, and you've turned this into a character assassination." "Sitting down, Harry," Stephanopoulos called out as the Duke began moving toward the exit. "We still have 10 minutes left." But Harry was already storming toward the studio doors, his security team scrambling to keep up. "You can keep your 10 minutes, George. Next time, try journalism instead of tabloid ambush tactics." And with that explosive exit, Prince Harry disappeared through the studio doors, leaving a stunned crew and a satisfied Stephanopoulos in his wake, proving once again that when confronted with hard truths, the Duke of Sussex's first instinct is always to run.